Alright guys, let's jump right into it. Here are 10 more normal things people spend money on every day that quickly keep them broke, and at this point, they're simply not worth your money anymore. Alright, number 1 is brand new cars. Guys, the average price of a new vehicle in America today is just under $50,000. The average monthly payment for a new car is now over $800 a month. And about 1 out of every 5 new car loans today is over $1,000 per month. Guys, let that sink in for a moment. We're not even talking about luxury cars anymore. We're talking about regular, everyday vehicles that have become extremely expensive. And this is where people misunderstand the real issue. The monthly payment isn't even the biggest danger when it comes to buying a new car. The bigger issue is the total cost of the ownership. When you buy a new vehicle, you're not just buying transportation. You're paying higher insurance premiums, registration fees, sales taxes in most states, dealer-priced maintenance, and a bunch of other costs that come with owning that car. And then there's the biggest cost of them all, which is the depreciation value. The moment you drive that new car off the lot, it can lose 15 to 20% of its value almost immediately. So now you're making a large payment on something that is worth less than what you owe right away. That's why the problem isn't just the payment, it's the total financial impact. And guys, I get asked all the time, if we're not supposed to buy brand new cars, then how do you actually buy a reliable used car without getting burned at a dealership? Basically, how do you avoid buying a lemon? Well, I make videos just like these so that you have better understanding and awareness about how to go through these mishaps so that you don't get burned at the dealership. Now, number 2 on my list is sugary drinks and drinking your calories. Guys, soda, energy drinks, sweet tea, fancy coffee drinks, sugary protein shakes, alcohol, most of that stuff isn't doing your body many favors at all. And obviously, it's not great for your wallet either. $5 a day on drinks doesn't sound like a big deal, but that's about $1,800 you're spending every year at the least. When you buy those drinks regularly, you're not just draining your wallet, you're hurting your health too. Some people are literally financing diabetes even without realizing it. And guys, think about it. Water is almost free everywhere you go. And honestly, you don't even need the fancy bottled water most of the time. When you cut back on sugary drinks, both your health and your finances improve at the same time. Now, number 3 on my list is large weddings that you can't afford. The average wedding in America costs around $34,000, and roughly 40% of marriages end up in divorce, if not more nowadays. So people are spending what could be a down payment on a house for one single day. Thousands of dollars are spent hosting guests, some of whom you barely even have a part of your life 5 years later. Here's an alternative idea. Have a smaller wedding that you can afford to pay for in cash. Then, if you make it to 15 or 20 years of marriage, celebrate that milestone in a big way. By that point, you've proven that the relationship works and hopefully built some wealth together. Starting a marriage by going into debt just to impress guests isn't the strongest financial foundation. Now, number 4 on my list is constantly eating out. Guys, I'm not saying that you should never go out to a restaurant. That's not the point. The problem is when eating out becomes a regular lifestyle every day, every week. It feels convenient and it saves you from cooking, but it definitely adds up quickly. And it's not always expensive restaurants. Sometimes it's the small things like lunch during the work week or $10 here or $15 there. Stopping somewhere after work on the way home. These are all bad habits. A $20 meal doesn't feel like much in the moment, but if you do that 4 times a week, that's over $4,000 for 1 year for one person. And to make things worse, if it's both you and a partner, then you're pushing close to double that, which is $8,000 a year. And to top it off, food delivery apps make it even worse. Things like DoorDash and Uber Eats adds delivery fees, service charges, tips, and sometimes higher menu prices. All for food that might be just 2 miles away. And yes, that convenience can easily cost thousands of dollars a year in extra fees. Alright, number 5 on my list is extended warranties. Guys, electronic stores and retailers absolutely love selling these things. I'm probably their worst customer because I almost never buy them. Companies don't aggressively push products they expect to lose money on. That's just business. Most electronics either fail early while they're still under the manufacturer's warranty, or they last for years. But extended warranties live somewhere in the middle where very few people ever use them. Sometimes something does break, sure, but most of the time you're simply paying for peace of mind that you never actually end up needing. One way to think about this is this: if you can't afford to buy something twice with cash, maybe you shouldn't buy it even once. Now, number 6 on my list is furniture store financing. Guys, you've seen the ads. 0% financing for 24 months. But please, whatever you do, avoid financing furniture or appliances. When you do that, you're making payments on items that lose value quickly. A 2-year-old couch is not something that you want to still be paying off. And many of these 0% offers come with fine print. They're often deferred interest agreements. If you miss a payment or fail to pay off the balance in time, all the interest can be added back retroactively. 0% financing doesn't make something affordable, it just makes it feel easier to justify emotionally in the moment. If you need payments just to buy furniture, it may be better to wait until you can pay it cash. Now, number 7 on my list is storage units. And look, I've been guilty of this one myself. When you rent a storage unit, you're basically paying monthly rent for your stuff. Most storage units are filled with boxes, old furniture, decorations, especially holiday decorations, and items that are often worth less than the money people spend storing them. Guys, sometimes people pay $120 a month for 5 years and don't even realize that that's over $7,000 spent just to hold on to items that they may barely use or even remember they have. Here's a simple rule of thumb. If something is truly important to you, it should probably be in your home to begin with. If it's not important enough to keep in your home, then it might not be important enough to pay rent for. Now, number 8 on my list is buy now, pay later services. I'm talking about companies like Klarna, Afterpay, or Affirm. These services allow you to purchase something now and split the cost into smaller payments over time. Often they advertise it as interest-free installments. But the problem is that psychologically it doesn't feel like debt. You didn't swipe a credit card. You didn't apply for a loan in the traditional sense, but you still created payments for yourself. Maybe you bought something online and split it into 4 payments of $32. Your brain thinks, that's nothing. Then you do it again and again and again. Before long, you've got 10 or 12 small payments happening at the same exact time. Monthly payments didn't just disappear just because you used buy now and pay later. They just followed you home from the internet. Micropayments can easily turn into macro stress. Now, number 9 on my list is payday loans. Only about 5% of Americans take out payday loans each year, but plenty of people have thought about it when money gets tight. The problem is, the payday loans don't really solve emergencies. They just extend them. You borrow $300 and end up paying $450 or $500 back. And many people end up borrowing again just to pay off the first loan that they took in the first place. That's how the cycle begins. Payday loans don't fix money problems, they actually trap them. The better solution, guys, is building a small emergency fund. Start with a goal of $3,000. Even if you can only start with $500, that's still a step in the right direction. The goal is to create a safety net so that you don't have to rely on payday lenders. And finally, guys, number 10 on my list is buying clothes for one-time events. An outfit for a birthday party, something new for a concert or a graduation, a banquet or a photo shoot. Stop buying new outfits for every occasion. You spend $150 or $200 on something you wear for 4 or 5 hours and then it sits in your closet for years. There's nothing wrong with repeating outfits, but most people aren't really paying enough attention to what you are wearing as much as you are paying attention to it. We've been conditioned to believe that every event requires a brand new look, but wealthy people repeat outfits all the time. The same jeans, the same blazer, the same dress. Just look at Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs. These guys are billionaires and they literally wore the same type of clothes every day just to save time. Mark Zuckerberg literally wears the same gray t-shirts, hoodies, and jeans to minimize his time spent. What that means is by eliminating small daily choices, he conserves mental energy for high-level decisions regarding Meta. And that's the same exact strategy similar to what Steve Jobs used to do himself. Ironically, it's often the people who can least afford to spend their money who end up spending the most trying to keep up with new outfits. Now, maybe it's just me being stubborn, but I stopped buying clothes for specific occasions about 10 years ago, and I'm not going back. And guys, those are the 10 additional things that really aren't worth your money anymore. Wealth usually isn't destroyed by one massive decision. It's more often slowly drained by small habits people repeat every day without questioning them. Once you start paying attention to those habits and challenging them, your finances have a much better chance of improving. Guys, I want to thank you for watching this video all the way through. I hope that you got some value out of this quick video. If you saw yourself in any of the things that I've mentioned, please drop a comment down below and let me know. And share this video with anyone that you care about. Just remember this, guys. Work hard now so you won't have to do it later. Thanks for watching this video all the way through, and I'll see you guys in the next video.